Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for August 18th, 2013. It's currently 8:30 a.m. We have temperatures already in the upper 70s to lower 80s over the northern interior and lower to mid 80s throughout the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Even over Long Island, temperatures are already pushing into the mid 80s. Today is going to be a very hot day, probably one of the hottest days we've seen so far this week, with temperatures easily pushing into the mid to upper 90s over the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, lower to mid 90s along the coast. Could see a few upper 80s on the southeast shore of Long Island, and perhaps a sea breeze could develop along the immediate New Jersey coast, dropping temperatures back down into the 80s. But many locations are going to see very hot and humid weather conditions, and with the high levels of humidity and, of course, the temperatures pushing well into the 90s, the heat index is going to be easily over 100 degrees, possibly over 110 degrees in some locations. I think the highest locations are likely going to be portions of northeastern New Jersey, central and northern Monmouth County, down towards the Philadelphia metropolitan area, Burlington County, Camden County, southwestern New Jersey for the most part, and portions of southeastern Pennsylvania. Those are your urban locations, and you have a lot of heat trapped, especially with all the pavement around. And so as a result, very easily temperatures are going to be pushing into the upper 90s. I wouldn't be surprised if someone hits 100 degrees today, considering where we are right now with the current temperatures and where we're going with all the very hot and humid conditions in place. As far as thunderstorms, nothing is developing right now, but I want to show you a few things on the infrared satellite picture. You can see very clear skies developing. That very hot pavement is starting to show up on the infrared satellite picture. Notice it's getting a little darker, but take a look at the water vapor satellite picture. In the water vapor satellite picture, we have this disturbance that's dropping south. Now, these mid-level disturbances are a bit tricky to forecast for, but what I can tell you is that for the most part, most locations will remain dry. But as long as you have these little mid-level disturbances rotating about, dropping from northwest to southeast, you're going to be at the risk of an isolated thunderstorm dropping basically from northeastern Pennsylvania towards the coast. They're going to be very isolated, but they'll have the potential of being very strong with very heavy downpours, strong wind gusts, over 40 miles per hour, frequent lightning, even possibly some hail. So we're going to keep an eye on that this afternoon. I think most thunderstorms, again, will be very isolated. Most locations will remain dry, hot, and humid, and very uncomfortable. But we're clearly going to be under the threat for those isolated thunderstorms with these type of disturbances rotating through the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Taking a look at the latest model guidance. Again, once again, using the European model guidance. You can use the GFS as well. It's pretty much saying the same thing, which is basically that a powerful ridge is in place, basically from the southwest all the way to the central Atlantic. Very impressive upper level ridge. Nice deep trough over the Hudson Bay with the powerful polar vortex here, but that's staying locked up to the north. Going on through tomorrow again. Got to keep an eye on a cold front that's going to move through on Saturday. On Friday, remaining hazy, hot, and humid. A little bit better chance of a few widely scattered to isolated thunderstorms. Once again, as this trough is getting a little bit closer, you get a little bit more lifting in the atmosphere. But for the most part, I think we're dealing with another hazy, hot, and humid day with temperatures pushing very close to 100 degrees in many urban locations. On Saturday, timing of this cold front is key. Looks like the cold front is likely to move through in the late afternoon and early evening hours, and that's going to mean that temperatures are going to be capable of pushing into the lower to mid 90s throughout much of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. So another day over 90 degrees, which means our heat wave continues. The heat index should range anywhere from the upper 90s to mid 100s. On Sunday, that cold front's going to stall out and wash out over the New Jersey coast, and that means there's going to be a threat for a few isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms on Sunday, and then that cold front pretty much lingers over the region Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, with the potential for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Temperatures are cooler, falling back into the mid to upper 80s, possibly a few lower 90s over the Philadelphia metropolitan area. mid to upper 80s, should I say, over the New York City metropolitan area, and lower to mid 80s along the immediate coast. So we back off a little bit on the heat. Instead of being 97, it's 91 or 87. And our humidity is a little bit lower, which means our heat index is likely going to remain in the lower to mid 90s rather than over 100 degrees. So we do see a break in this heat wave starting likely Sunday. Could push into Sunday over the Philadelphia metro, where temperatures could break 90, 91 degrees. But I think for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we pretty much hold in the 80s for most locations with lower humidity, but still potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms each afternoon. That is your forecast discussion for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and NYNJPA Weather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there.